right.
Please welcome JobsOhio Board Chairman Josh Rubin.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today, and welcome to our 2025 first quarter JobsOhio board meeting. We are honored to have two very special guests with us here today, and the last place I want to be standing is between you and them. So I'm going to make this very, very brief, but just to kick things off, you are going to hear today about some great wins Ohio has had over the past few months since our last board meeting. Of course, there was a national championship, but there have also been thousands of jobs created. There has been enhanced tools that we have now to compete with other states, and perhaps most importantly and significantly, we have a new lieutenant governor who not only knows something about national championships, but also I think is uniquely qualified to help us with the education and workforce issues that we face. And of course, we continue to do the blocking and tackling that is making a big difference across the state. Just this month alone, in February, the statistics are quite impressive. 1,472 jobs created, 859 jobs retained, over $97 million in new payroll, and over $1 billion in capital investment, and that's just February. And while many people who are here and many people across the state are helping to contribute to this success, there is no doubt about the leadership by our governor and by our First Lady that is making a tremendous difference in all of these projects. Governor, I know you like to say it's Ohio's time. Well, I think the last few months are certainly proving that to be the case. So with that, it's my honor to welcome our governor, Mike DeWine. Governor.
Well, Josh, thank you very much. Who's ever got the teleprompter? I'm not using it, so you can shut it off. But first of all, I just want to thank the members of the board for your service. You all do a phenomenal job. It's not easy. It's a great responsibility. But to all of you, I'm very, very, very grateful. I'm also very grateful to all the JobsOhio team. This is a team that is very, very good. It's a team that likes to win. And it's a team that has, I think, knowledge that is really appreciated by companies that we're dealing with, that we're trying to get to come to Ohio. I hear it all the time, what they tell me. And I think the other thing that is really significant is the blending of the team in the sense that JobsOhio works very, very closely with the governor, works very closely with the lieutenant governor, works very, very closely with the members of our cabinet and deep down into our administration. It's not just Lydia Mahalik and our economic development people, but when a deal is done and we've made commitments, I always tell people, the companies, before we cut the deal, when we're still trying to get them to come in here, that really the most important thing is not what happens before, but what happens after. And that's what we also take a lot of pride in that we will fulfill our obligation. We'll cut through the red tape. We'll do the things that need to be done in the years ahead. So it's not just from the governor's side. It's not just Director Mahalik, but it's also our different departments, the Ohio EPA, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. It might be ODOT. All of them working together. And the common theme that I hear when I talk to CEOs who have decided to come to Ohio, and when we ask them the reason why, their answer is because you're aligned. The term aligned is always what we hear. And so to all of you at JobsOhio, to all of those who are on our team who are directly involved and sometimes indirectly involved in getting these companies here, I thank you very much. I also want to thank the legislature. The agreement to extend the contract between JobsOhio and the state of Ohio was very, very important, and that has been done. And it really assures everyone and sends another signal to companies and to businesses and business publications around the country that this team will continue on for many, many, many years in the future. And again, I think that is, it is really important to send that message that the Jobs Ohio will continue to be a huge, huge partner as we do this. It's also again in the follow-up that companies again will know that in the years ahead, Jobs Ohio is not only still going to be there, but it's going to be robust, and it's going to be able to fulfill its obligations as well as the state fulfills its obligations. This is the first meeting that we've had, obviously, without John Houston. And John, I just want to say something about John. First of all, I picked him to be United States Senator because, frankly, I knew he was going to do a great job. I had immense trust in him. But as you all know, he has been dynamic in his work in regard to economic development, and has worked closely with Jobs Ohio, worked closely with all of you. And so, the successes that we've had for the last 6 years, he has played a huge, huge role in those successes. That's why, certainly one of the reasons why it was so very important for me in picking the next lieutenant governor, seeking the Senate and the House to confirm that individual. It was important for me to have the right person. And I think a lot of people were surprised when Jim Tressel's name was never mentioned in the newspaper. We kind of liked that, actually, but had a little fun with that. But I think that, what I have seen from him, particularly in the 9 years that he served as president of Youngstown State University, and I saw, whenever I went to the Mahoning Valley, I saw the relationship between Youngstown State and the business community, the whole community, the leadership, whether it's political leadership, whether it's business leadership, labor, all of them worked well with Jim. He worked well with them, and he was an integral part of that community. And that's the model, frankly, that we'd like to see in regard to our four-year universities. It's also the model we see in regard to our down into career tech in high school. It's also the model, of course, for our community colleges as well. And so his background and what I've seen him do as a leader, and his real emphasis on education, his emphasis on economic development, his emphasis on career tech, all of those coming together, it was clear to me that he got it. He understood it. He understood where Ohio really needs to go in the future. I'm going to turn it over to him in a moment. And he can tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. We're actually going back to the Mahoning Valley. We have a big announcement today, which we're very, very happy about. And I know the people in the valley are happy about it as well. I have submitted a budget to the legislature which really continues what we have been doing, and it relates directly to what Jobs Ohio does. It relates directly to the economic development here in the state of Ohio. We have all worked together, everyone in this room, all of us have worked together to bring jobs to Ohio, to bring companies to Ohio, to bring companies that are future-looking companies. Anduril, for example, couldn't have more of a future-looking company than this company. And when you talk to the CEO, when you talk to the founders, and you get the real understanding. That's the type of company that we, have really put a premium on bringing to the state. But we also know that the biggest question that is many times raised by businesses when we're talking to them, when Jobs Ohio is talking to them, I'm talking to them, is will we have the workforce? And that is frankly, our biggest challenge. I think we're doing well in focusing on education. But as I said, this will be my fourth budget. It'll be my last budget but it will be framed and has been framed. As I talked to legislators, Jim and I met with some legislators yesterday morning for breakfast, the governor's residence. We did it the morning before. We're going to continue to do that. But as we frame it, what we talk about is that, look, we're creating more jobs in Ohio every day than we have people to fill them. And so the most important thing we can do for our children, our grandchildren, and for the state of Ohio, and it all kind of comes together, is to remember what our goals are. Goals number one, we want every Ohioan to live up to their God-given potential. We want everyone to be able to have opportunities. It's what we want for our kids, what we want for our grandkids. It happens also to parallel and mesh with what we need for the state of Ohio. And so this is a budget really about the future. We invest in a lot in education, but we talk about education from a very broad point of view, from prenatal care, all the way up to someone who is going back to college or going back and getting some training for a specific job, whatever the age that they are. We know that if someone comes out of high school and they're really not on a pathway, that's a problem. It's a challenge. Doesn't mean they can't get on a pathway, but we prefer them to be on that pathway. So one of the things in the budget, for example, that we're saying is, every school, under our budget, every school, every high school, junior high, middle school, will have to work with young people in regard to coming up with a career plan. Again, they may change that plan, they may change course, but having that plan, we think is very, very important. Keeping our young people in Ohio and bringing smart young people from other states here is certainly part of what we have to do. In our last budget, and it's also in this budget, we're asking the legislature to renew this. Just as an example, we said, look, if you're in the top 5% of your graduating high school class, we want to make sure that you stay in Ohio. We want to give you a little extra incentive. And so in our last budget, we provided $5,000 if that student ends up in a school in Ohio, if he or she picks a school in Ohio. It can be a public, could be private. We've now looked at the results of that first year. And based upon what would have been the normal projection for that top 5% versus what we ended up, we've ended up, just because of that additional money, we've ended up with over 1,000 of our top students who chose Ohio schools instead of going out of state. You multiply that by year after year after year, and it's going to make a huge, huge, huge difference. So we've asked the legislature to renew that. But we've also done something else that I think is going to make a difference. Sometimes I run into young people, and I always, whenever I see a young person, if I think they're getting ready to graduate, I talk to them about where are you going, what are you going to do, what are your plans, and many, many, many different things that they have. But when we get down for those that, are not on a path to go to the military, they're not on a career tech path, but are on a college path, I talk with them. Sometimes I find that they're going to an out-of-state school, and that's fine. But sometimes one of the reasons is top student, but couldn't get into an Ohio school or one of the 14 universities that they want in Ohio. And these are our top students. So we provide in this budget that if you're in the top 5% of your graduating class, you will be admitted to the main campus of any university in the state of Ohio. And if you choose to go here. So these are, again, some of the many things that we're doing in this budget really to push forward. Let me now turn it over to Jim. Again, I can't tell you how happy I am that he said yes when Fran and I made the trip up to Northern Ohio and asked Jim if he was willing to serve as Lieutenant Governor. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor.
Thanks, Mr. Governor, and really, it's an honor to be with this group, but it's really an honor to work with Governor DeWine and his staff. It's whenever you're new somewhere and you meet new people all the time, you're like amazed as to, what they do, the impact, the enormity of their responsibility. But really what cemented it for Ellen and I was that we know that what he talks about is what he believes, that every single person in this state is important, that it's up to us to try to have them reach their God-given potential and help them understand what their potential is. And so when you believe in the leader, you believe in what the team is trying to accomplish, and when he's sitting in your basement, it's hard to say no. I thought he was coming up for a grandson's basketball game.
We did that too.
Yeah, right. But, so it's been a fun learning curve, and amazing to see the talent that he has surrounded himself with. And I've known JobsOhio for quite some time because we worked closely up in the Mahoning Valley when we were at Youngstown State, and we hosted your meeting. We had a lot of fun doing that and growing to get to know you, and it's been fun to watch what you've accomplished. And it's just fun every time you have one of those announcements and you think about our young people as to the opportunity they're going to have for generations. And as the governor said, the biggest challenge is having our population understand what the opportunities are, have them grow to want to be a part of these great teams that are moving to Ohio and who believe in us. And I've been around for a long time, and I happen to think that this part of the country built the country. If you think back, the Industrial Revolution and all the rest, and pendulum swing and so forth, and I think, like JP and the board and the governor think, is that the pendulum right now is kind of swinging in our favor. But like anything else, I've been in games where the momentum was swinging in our favor, and now you have to do what you have to do to take advantage of that momentum and that moment. And it is a workforce conversation. JP knows I lean on him all the time to say, hey, you got to be partners with us in education and with us in workforce, and you've got to have people understand and know about all that we're bringing and all that we're doing, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm kind of on my learning and listening tour, and when you do that with the governor, it's like 22 hours a day. He gives you 2 hours to sleep, which is kind. But I've had a chance to meet with some of the agencies. I have a long day tomorrow of having a chance to meet with Director Dakin and the Workforce Education Group, and Mike Duffy with the Ohio Department of Higher Education, and we're going to get a time together where you can tutor me a little bit more about how we can be helpful from our standpoint, and so it's going to be fun. It is a moment we need to seize, and I hear the phrase economic development, and I guess the challenge I get in my mind is that economic success is the workforce. Just like our teams, you could talk all you want about the coaches, but the players are the ones that win, and so the challenge we have now is to have economic success, which will be in large part by developing that workforce and getting people excited to be a part of these things as they learn more about them. And a lot of the things that you're bringing are the things that I think the younger generation can get excited about once they know about those opportunities. So we're looking forward to it, and as the governor mentioned, we're going up to Youngstown today to make an announcement. I don't think we're allowed to preempt the announcement here today, so I better not, since we're on national television, and I don't want to scoop anything. But we have an exciting announcement up in the valley, and we're so proud of Alexa Sweeney-Blacon and what she's done with newly created Lake to River. A hand for Alexa. And I look forward to getting to meet the other leaders of the regions, because all of the regions were so good to Alexa and her staff as they were trying to figure out, okay, how do we do this? And she traveled all over the state, Cincinnati, Dayton, and all over Toledo, and they were like, hey, you're a new part of the team. Here's what's worked for us. Here's what we learned. here's how we found out we need to do it better, whatever, and so it's an exciting time, but truly, the greatest honor that I've had in these 72 years is to work next to this guy, and I'm looking forward to it. So, thank you.
Governor, Lieutenant Governor, thank you very much for being here. We really appreciate your leadership. It's inspiring to hear you talk about your vision for Ohio, and this group that's gathered here today promises that we're going to do our part. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you. One thing down, 12 to go.
Thank you.
Our next order of business is to approve the minutes of the December 5th meeting from last year.
Move to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Any further conversation? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, our minutes from December 5th are approved. We will now move over to our fearless leader, our president, J.P. Nassif.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Thank you, Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Tressel, and our board. We're very grateful. As you heard the governor and Lieutenant Governor mention, the controlling board recently voted to approve the 15-year extension for the beverage system. That's to fuel the powers economic development and JobsOhio's economic engine. So on behalf of our team here at JobsOhio and our outstanding network partners, we're very grateful. And we also appreciate Speaker Huffman, Senate President McCauley, and the whole legislature, and Ohio's business community for their enduring and unwavering support of what we do. I also want to make sure, since it's the first board meeting since the announcement of former Lieutenant Governor Husted taking this new role as senator, to thank former Lieutenant Governor, now U.S. Senator Husted, for his support of economic development, of JobsOhio, of workforce development. He really did set an incredible example. It was his mission, and we know he's going to be an outstanding representative for Ohioans in his role in the U.S. Senate. And we're excited to work with him in that role, and obviously we're very excited to work with our new Lieutenant Governor. So as noted in the press statement that went out after the controlling board vote, JobsOhio and our team of network partners are going to continue to build on this opportunity. Ohio is a unique state, and it's unlike our competitor states. It is not dominated by one or two metropolitan areas or one or two industries. We're a diverse state geographically. We've got 7 incredible regions. We've got large cities. We've got small, medium-sized cities and wide open spaces. An incredible product in the competition for workforce and capital investment. We're structured to go into that marketplace through regional partners that are here today. This allows us to go quickly from global to local. And many of the significant investment decisions are made based on local considerations, and our partners are critical to that. So I'd like to take a moment to thank the presidents of our 7 regional partners that are here. Many of them are here today. We work very closely with them. They are partners, and they are truly shared partners in our success. Jeff Hoagland from the Dayton Development Coalition, Alexa Sweeney-Blacken from Lake to River, our newest region. Kenny McDonald from One Columbus, again, Columbus in many ways leading the nation in economic development, one of the fastest growing regions in the country. Kim Lauterbach, Ready Cincinnati. Dean Monsky from the Regional Growth Partnership in Northwest Ohio. And our 2 newest regional presidents, Matt Abbott from Ohio Southeast, and not with us today due to a death in his family. And he's in our thoughts, he and his family in our thoughts, Matt Dolan and Team Neo. So Matt, we are thrilled to have you on the team. We're very excited about that. So Team Ohio has stepped up to seize a generational opportunity, and we've catapulted our state into a leadership position, working in key industries and their supply chains. The success didn't happen overnight. It's intentional. It's where preparation has met opportunity. And to fully appreciate how far we've come, it's always good to reflect on where we've been. So for decades, we watched Ohio's core industries and population migrate southwest, across borders, across oceans. And from 2001 to 2011, these trends steepened. Ohio lost over 18% of the high-value, high-wage, high-quality of life producing jobs in those 9 tradable private industry sectors. Companies like General Motors, Delphi, DHL, Hoover, Ford exited the state at a pace equal to the largest employer in each of Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati leaving our state. Recognizing the urgent need to change, Ohioans elected leaders who prioritize pro-business and pro-workforce policies. And that laid the foundation for what happened next. It laid the foundation for Ohio's comeback. And it's been part of the mindset of Jobs Ohio and our network. Jobs Ohio was a startup focused on rebuilding Ohio's industry around 9 core industries to diversify our economy. In 2019, the DeWine administration, new leadership team members at Jobs Ohio and a new strategy fueled what was a turnaround and became Ohio economic leadership. And then fast forward to today, because of that economic leadership, Ohio's emerged as a state that was in decline to consistently leading across many vital leading economic indicators. Since the low point in 2010, 2011, Ohio has added more than 220,000 new jobs in those same high-value, high-wage sectors. And the results for 2024 were no different. With deals across America down nearly 35%, 2024 was Jobs Ohio and our network partners' most prolific year for project completions. Ohio also ranked number 2 in mega projects, number 3 nationally for completed deals. It was 3rd nationally for new fixed capital investment and 5 nationally for new high-wage jobs created. These stats are no fluke. They're part of a sustained trend. In fact, Ohio is the only state in the country that has been in the top 5 each year since 2019 for both total projects completed and per capita projects completed. And that's because of the team that we have on the field that works very closely with the administration. And I want to congratulate our team for that. The breadth of Ohio's economic momentum is a statewide and it's multi-sector. It spans from mega projects, including the one you heard about, Anduril, with 4,000 new jobs being created just outside of Columbus, to AWS in multiple counties, MedPace in Cincinnati, Honda LG in Fayette County, and hundreds of strategically important wins like WorldPlay, Sherwin-Williams, Joby Aviation, Purina, Abbott Labs, Ultium Cells, and First Solar, and many more. And this work has enabled Ohio to become the 8th most industrial diverse state economy in America, and the rate of diversification in Ohio is outpacing our Midwest and our economic development competitors on the coast. Those leading indicators are indicators of financial stability and resilience, confirmed by Ohio's first ever AAA bond rating by 3 major credit institutions. Ohio's investing in industries that are foundational for the future. These are industries and companies that are bringing breakthrough innovations in trillion-dollar markets. They're going to do it on Ohio soil with Ohio grit and Ohio know-how. We're sending a message to the world, as you heard, when it matters, you make it in Ohio. And over the next 5 years, Ohio has the opportunity to achieve even more. Our strategic plan for the next 5 years is branded Jobs Ohio 2030, Growing Together. And through that plan and working with our partners, we will capitalize on super sectors. We've seen some of our target sectors converging, and we've called them now super sectors that provide massive economic upside and a significant return on investment for Ohio. We're going to fully realize the Silicon Heartland. Intel's investment is a catalyst. and we're going to attract not only their supply chain, but we're going to also grow and attract the greatest minds and emerging tech companies to solve the industry's most challenging semiconductor applications. And these applications will be required to support work being done by the men and women at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base at the Air Force Research Lab. They will develop new technologies, new systems to deter aggression by our enemies and protect our way of life. And many of those technologies will be commercialized right here in Ohio. And much like the Apollo program seeded Silicon Valley decades ago, Ohio will build out the new Silicon Heartland, one brick, one company, one person at a time, one invention at a time, just as Ohioans did during the industrial age. We'll seize the opportunity of AI. It's projected to be a $1.8 trillion opportunity by 2030. We're going to look at it both as a separate sector and as an enabler of our other sectors. We'll support Ohio's talent needs. You heard the governor and lieutenant governor reference this. This is critical. Our strategy is essential as a member of Team Ohio. With these recent successes, the businesses that have come here and our ambition for Ohio's continued economic leadership require that we build on what is already one of America's most productive, diverse, and industrious labor forces here in Ohio. So we're going to work with our partners in state government. We're going to work with our client companies, with our education institutions, our regional partners to ensure Ohio companies that are expanding here and the ones that are flocking here through reshoring and onshoring have the workforce that they need so that they can continue to compete and win in their markets. We're going to be a catalyst for innovation. We're going to support Ohio's innovation economy by delivering on the commitments and promises made through the 3 innovation districts in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, and by supporting the innovation hubs that the governor and lieutenant governor referenced this morning. We're going to encourage affordable, and abundant energy by working with partners like the Ohio Business Roundtable and the business community and the state of Ohio to ensure Ohio can leverage our abundant resources as a competitive advantage. And we're going to continue to share and amplify Ohio's brand promise. When we say you can have it all, at the heart of it all, it's more than a slogan. It's the reality of what Ohio offers in terms of business and quality of life. It's a place where you can have a robust family, community life, and be successful in your business and with your investments. You can truly have it all right here. And more businesses are seeing that. So while Ohio is on an upward swing and an upward economic trajectory, we have a lot more work to do. And I'm going to drill down a little bit more on the workforce. When we present locations to company CEOs and site selectors that are considering a location expansion here, amongst the top questions they ask about that they need are the availability of the workforce that they need. And so when we broaden that lens, all the projects across the state are ramping their hiring together with the pipeline that we're building externally to Ohio. There is a sizable gap between Ohio's talent supply and the projected market demand. And this is what the governor and lieutenant governor referenced. It's especially true for the fastest growing technology and manufacturing jobs and positions. Availability of workforce isn't unique to Ohio. It's a nationwide issue. But with the leadership from the DeWine administration, the support of JobsOhio, the partnership of our network partners, collaborating together, we're going to address this gap. We're focused on 91 categories of in-demand jobs and the corresponding training programs that produce engineers, technicians, operators, IT, and AI specialists. Ohio has more than 200 institutions of higher learning, including 7 R1 Carnegie research institutions that are among the best in the world. They generate 136,000 higher ed degrees per year, including associate, bachelor, master's, and doctorate. The great news, Ohio is a top 10 importer of college students. And while we graduate 136,000 degrees a year, 45% of those students leave the state after graduation, many of them seeking a job elsewhere. Well, we're fixing that problem. Raising our retention rate using tools like the governor's proposed in his biennial budget means keeping more Ohio-educated knowledge workers who would have otherwise left our state. And Ohio's 3 innovation districts act as both a catalyst for students to earn degrees in key fields and also offer an opportunity for them to stay and build their careers in Ohio. Ohio's innovation districts will produce an additional 47,000 graduate degrees in key disciplines that our employers require over the next 10 years. We expect a similar dynamic in Governor DeWine's Innovation Hub strategy. Ohio has 22 community colleges and 49 Ohio technical centers. The DeWine administration, together with the legislature, have committed $300 million to career tech expansion. Ohio's Tech Cred program is up for renewal. The Tech Cred program, championed by our former Lieutenant Governor and now U.S. Senator John Husted, has already enabled Ohio workers to earn more than 120,000 in-demand tech-related credentials, making it easier for them to access the high-demand jobs and for businesses to find the talent they need to grow. And there are so many more programs to upskill and train Ohio workers. Here at JobsOhio, our outstanding team, led by Christy Klaus, implements a talent acquisition services that help companies meet their talent attraction, development, and retention needs. Since 2017, our unique approach to talent acquisition has helped 91 Ohio companies hire over 21,000 new employees. Our team of more than 30 JobsOhio talent experts believe we can achieve a goal of matching 10,000 future candidates with roles that companies need to grow into the future. And as our federal workforce currently experiences some changes and transition with a new administration in Washington, JobsOhio is using our Find Your Ohio platform to make sure these workers and others are aware of open positions right here in Ohio as they consider their future, either in the federal service or outside of the federal service. Using sophisticated marketing and matchmaking tools, Find Your Ohio is expected to bring over 80,000 candidates from outside of Ohio to consider positions inside of Ohio. That's how Ohioans tackle a big challenge like this, whether it's diversifying our economy or upskilling our workforce. We use the tools we have, and we invent the tools we need if we don't have them. We roll up our sleeves and we get to work. Along with innovation and grit, for years, JobsOhio has been investing in the workforce and talent challenges at a level that reflect the urgency and the opportunity for closing the gap. 2 facts that should stand out. First, talent is not a new priority. Second, we're investing big. Nearly $700 million has been allocated across 9 JobsOhio initiatives, including talent acquisition services, Find Your Ohio, coastal company attraction, workforce grants, and even the talent retention and attraction through the Forbes Under 30 activations. We still have a lot to do because Ohio's success in job creation and job attraction has created this new opportunity for Ohioans and Ohio's world-class workforce team to step up to the challenge. And there's evidence it's beginning to work. In fact, there's early evidence that we've begun to reverse the trends of job losses that hollowed out much of Ohio's industrial base in the decades prior to JobsOhio's founding in 2011. A 2024 Bloomberg analysis highlights that Ohio's 25 to 44-year-old population has stabilized or is increasing in 75% of Ohio's counties in the last 4 years. And the good news is complemented by the fact that nearly 97,000 people have relocated to our state, seeking a job for the first time since 2019. It's the first time since the 80s that Ohio has had sustained positive population in migration, and Ohio now leads the Midwest for total net population in migration. Companies and job seekers that once targeted other regions are now looking to Ohio as the best place to live and do business, as designed. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and partners, this concludes my report.
Thank you, JP. Board members, any comments or questions of JP? No? Okay. Next order of business is to discuss any new business. Do any of our board members have any new business they would like to discuss? Okay, hearing none, we can move to our closing remarks. Again, I'll kick this off. I want to, again, thank the governor and the legislature, and particularly our legislative leaders on making sure that the 15-year extension got passed through the controlling board. If you think about it, that extension is going to help people in this state and around this country, but particularly in this state that haven't even been born yet. And isn't that what our mission is to leave this state in a better place than how we found it? And so I am particularly grateful that that has been done. And again, it was a team effort. It was a lot of hard work, but we were able to get that over the line. You heard JP talk about the successes that we've had in 2024. Again, total team effort, and thanks to a lot of you in this room, and again, our friends and stakeholders across Ohio, we've had a really good year despite some macro headwinds that we've been facing, and we got to keep up that momentum. And just like all of those successes are a team effort, the enormous challenge that we have with the workforce, making sure that we find people to fill those 540,000 jobs is going to take a team effort. So in closing, I would like to ask each of you to help us in that effort. We're not going to be able to do it alone. We're going to need a lot of assistance. We're going to need your hard work, your creativity, your ingenuity, and I'm quite confident together we'll be able to get it done. So with that, let me throw it over to our board members for any final remarks. Rick, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I guess I'll use my mic time to shout out to Defiance County, Northwest Ohio manufacturing project, first issue, nearly $1 billion, 400 jobs. I know the governor, lieutenant governor, JobsOhio, we celebrate local impact. It is a generational opportunity that's going to happen in Defiance County as that project advances. We're so often here that Middle Ohio is getting more than its share. Our largest county in Ohio is 34 times bigger than Defiance County. So if equivalency is what we were seeking on local impact, that would mean 12,000 jobs coming, and that would be a massive project. So let's celebrate the local impact that we're going to see in Northwest Ohio. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Lori?
Sure. So another great day of, board meetings yesterday. And, as I reflected on yesterday, we always, at the board meetings, discuss the discipline, the structure that the JobsOhio team adheres to. And, the discipline is, we see it across the board. But yesterday, one of the things that we talked about was relative to transparency. And the JobsOhio team has had an impressive run of 7 consecutive years of candid platinum transparency recognition, achieving the top 0.5% of the top 1% of not-for-profits for transparency, with the details of the deals that they do available for viewing at jobsohio.com. I'm going to say that again because I think it's really important. The top 0.5% of the top 1%. It's just another example of the best-in-class team that we have here in JobsOhio. So I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for pointing that out. It's truly remarkable, the outside reinforcement that we're getting on the work that's being done, and it's great. Thanks for bringing that up. Scott.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, JP. Thanks for a couple of good days here in Columbus. Thanks to the JobsOhio team. We're doing it here. This is extra duty when this stuff comes up, and I know they're hard at work. We really appreciate all the efforts for a couple of great days. Again, I know it's been talked about a lot, but congratulations to all on that 15-year extension. That's absolutely huge. The extension will clearly provide the fuel to sustain this positive economic growth that we've all experienced and build this momentum, really, that Ohio's seen now that we're all familiar with, really going back to like 2019. So thanks again, to the legislature, the administration, for making that happen. That was critically important. And with this new extension, as we're rolling out the JobsOhio 2030 strategy, how important it is as it relates to that. So really excited about seeing the execution with an all-star team that we have here at JobsOhio and our regional partners to continue this momentum and execute on those strategies. And we're doing it with an all-star team. I do want to do a quick shout out because the engine with the JobsOhio beverage system, the efficiency and recognition of what they've received as the #1 control state in the country is a big deal. So a shout out to Lorraine and her incredible team for being that engine to make all of this possible. So thank you, Chairman.
Thanks, Scott. Dr. Thornton.
Yes, sir. I would continue my comments based around team, because I think we have a wonderful new team. We had a great team with the governor and Lieutenant Governor Husted, who will be missed, but we have a new team. And certainly I think we're going to be expecting great results, particularly in the area of workforce development. I would say the JobsOhio team certainly has done an outstanding job in creating an environment for work. I came here in 1992 from Minnesota to work. And so I personally can understand the value of getting a job in Ohio. And I think that's what JobsOhio's team has done, is create an environment where anyone who wants to work, who wants a career, can do so. And so for someone who's devoted over 21 years to training and workforce development, I'm very excited about the prospect. I think with our returning young people, 24, 25, 44-year-olds to Ohio from other places after having attended other universities outside, as well as our universities and colleges here in Ohio, we have great prospects. I am encouraged. I think that with the creation of the jobs, JP, we have people who will fill it. I think we'll have an opportunity for people who want to return home, return to families, raise their families here in Ohio. They'll have opportunities, and that's what's exciting for me about being a board member, and just encouraged at every board member meeting that we hear new things and new developments. Congratulations to you and your team. Look forward to more years.
Thank you, Dr. Thornton. JP.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, after a decade of outstanding leadership, Bill Kaler passed the torch to Matt Dolan at Team NEO earlier this month. So we want to thank Bill for his relentless focus on unity and results that have helped set the stage for Northeast Ohio's continued transformation, bringing tens of thousands of new jobs and billions of investment to the region. And in his final year with Team NEO, working with the team and his region and his local economic development partners, completed more projects than any other region in any other year since JobsOhio's creation. So there's a challenge to our other regional partners. So congratulations, Bill. Welcome, Matt. And also last week you heard Matt Abbott was announced as the president and CEO of Ohio Southeast. Want to make sure we thank Katie Farber, who provided steady interim leadership. And the region has seen a remarkable 60% increase in job creation and infrastructure projects during her brief tenure as its leader. And we're looking forward to working with Matt. So, and finally, I'll make final thought, Mr. Chairman, in the season of electoral transition, part of our great country and our great state, both in Washington and here in Ohio, JobsOhio's approach remains clear and consistent. We work for who the people elect. And while changes in leadership and political climate naturally raise questions for businesses and for workforce, we're going to continue working alongside our local, state, and DC partners to stay focused on what drives our mission, business growth and workforce growth. We're going to focus on access to talent, solid infrastructure, and an ecosystem that supports innovation. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. Again, appreciate everybody being here today. Obviously, we're very excited about what the future holds, and we feel like we've got a great team leading the way. And again, thank you for all of the work that you're doing. Our next meeting is scheduled for May 22nd, and there will be more details coming about that meeting. But again, thank you all for being here, and this will conclude our meeting. We are adjourned. Thank you.